Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Najah binti Hassan and I will present about the history of palm oil in Malaysia. First of all, oil palm or known scientifically as Alis guineensis is originated from West Africa, where it is used as a staple food crop dates as far back as 5,000 years. There is even evidence in Egyptian tombs of people being buried with casks of palm oil. Thus, palm oil can be considered one of the earliest traded commodities. Next, the use of palm oil in the international market expanded significantly as a result of the British Industrial Revolution and the expansion of overseas trade. As the result of the increased demand in palm oil, Europeans began investing in palm oil production, first in West Africa and expanding to Southeast Asia. Lastly, the first commercial scale in Malaysia was founded in 1917 and established in Tenamaran Estate in Selangor. The history of palm oil industry. Firstly, the palm oil industry in Malaysia has evolved dramatically since the first commercial planting took place in Tenamaran Estate in Selangor in 1917, which became the line foundation for the industry in Malaysia. Next, the cultivation of oil palm increased at a fast pace in early 1960s under the government's agricultural diversification program, which was introduced to reduce the country's economic dependence on rubber and tin. In the 1960s, the government introduced land settlement schemes for planting oil palm as a means to eradicate poverty for the landless farmers and smallholders.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Ilyana Dira. I will present summary of the issue. In early January, the pandemic COVID-19 that comes from China has started to spread all over the world. In middle March, the Prime Minister of Malaysia has declared movement control order in Malaysia since the COVID-19 has entered into Malaysia. It is because the outbreak began in Wuhan, global markets has plummeted, forcing the government to reduce national expenditures and introduce stimulus programs, while central banks have lowered the overnight policy rates to support economic growth. Consequently, there are certain industries that are not essential in Malaysia are asked to stop running their business during the MCO. Only a few industries are allowed to run the business but have to follow the standard operation procedure. One of the allowed industry is oil palm industry. According to Bernama, during MCO, oil palm industry in Malaysia will not have a large impact because the industry got that support by local and international demand. This is because majority of the Malaysian citizens need to stay at home while there is no essential business running like usual days. Hence, there are some causes and effects occurred due to COVID-19. Some of causes occurred due to COVID-19 are movement control order and reduction of national expenditure. Meanwhile, its effects are limitation of manpower at plantation, demand of palm oil product increase, and decline in export performance. Consequently, some steps have been taken by the authority to solve the issue, such as commodity sector is allowed, downstream industry has been strengthened, enhanced diplomatic relationship with consumers of Malaysia's palm oil, and aim to create relation with potential markets.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Irina Auni Azhar binti Taufiq Azhar and I will present to you about the causes and effects of the issue. As mentioned by Ilya, our Prime Minister has declared movement control order on 18 March after cases of COVID-19 has risen rapidly in Malaysia. The virus has spread all over the world and not just in Malaysia. Hence, most of the affected countries are also controlling their citizen movement by implementing a lockdown. For example, India and United Kingdom. This widespread lockdown have resulted in the closure of thousands of canteens and restaurants and choking the demand of edible oil. Since lots of countries are struggling to curb the infection and mortality rates, the government of Malaysia is reducing the national expenditure in terms of palm oil industry. Consequently, it will lighten the burden of national expenditure. Okay, next, there are some effects occur in Malaysia's economic performance. Firstly, limitation of manpower at plantations. Due to the MCO, Work at plantation are also affected, although they are exempted from the restrictions. This is because the workers must follow standard operation procedures such as social distancing. It is not easy to continue working while social distancing, and not many people are allowed to be together in one place at a time. Next, demand of palm oil product increased locally and internationally. Since people are required to follow the MCO by staying at home, there is an increment in demand. It is because they consume more palm oil product and edible oil. And lastly, there is a decline in export performance. Countries are reducing its expenditure by reducing its import product, so there are drastic falls in exports. On March, price per ton of palm oil has dropped to its lowest since the 2008 global financial crisis. Malaysia's February palm oil exports fell by 10.81% from the month before. Malaysia's palm oil export to China has declined by nearly 17%.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainatul Munira binti Rahimi. Next, we want to discuss about the steps taken by authority to solve the problems occurred for the oil palm industry. Firstly, the commodity sector is allowed to continue its operation during MCO since oil palm smallholders rely on the income from the oil palm industry value chain. However, due to the restrictions of MCO, Dr. Ahmad Parviz, Director General of MPOB, said that there is a probability that the virus may spread among the smallholders, and thus those who are considered as potential carriers are required to undergo quarantine for at least 14 days. Therefore, the authority is responsible to control the movement of the workers in commodity sector. Secondly, downstream industry has been strengthened in order to help in assisting the smallholders and small and medium entrepreneurs to the improvement of their livelihood. Consequently, it does help in boosting the local demand as well as reducing Malaysia's dependence on palm oil export. Therefore, this industry does help in enhancing the smallholders and entrepreneurs' standard of living, and at the same time, it will contribute to the national economic growth. Thirdly, the authority shall enhance diplomatic relationship with consumers of Malaysian palm oil, such as India, China, the Middle East, and Africa. China's demand for palm oil continues, but there will be some restrictions of MCO that must be followed, and it may tighten the supply of palm oil. Additionally, there is an expected high demand from India, the Middle East, and Africa in the month of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr celebration. Therefore, Malaysia may have a good relationship with these countries. Last but not least, the authority is aiming to create a relation with some potential markets such as Morocco, Tunisia, and Egypt. It is because currently they are using olive oil as their main vegetable oil, and thus there is a potential for Malaysian palm oil to enter the market for industrial usage. Therefore, Malaysian palm oil can expand its industry at all over the world.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. I am Sarah Lailatul Huda binti Sharifuddin and I will be concluding our topic. As for conclusion, Malaysia is the second world's largest palm oil producer and exporter after Indonesia. This is because Malaysia is at equator line of the earth and we enjoy tropical weather which the temperature is remain constant throughout the year. Thus, Malaysia has a specialization in producing palm oil. This has been given advantages in Malaysia to increase its economies of scale. Although the virus of COVID-19 has been affecting every sectors of industry, the demand for palm oil increased more than usual as people consume more edible oil because of the movement control order which restrict them from going out without any relevant reasons. Hence, with all circumstances occurred during this pandemic, Malaysia managed to handle the problem of the demand of palm oil such as commodity sector is allowed, downstream industry has been strengthened, enhancing diplomatic relationship with consumers, and aiming to create relation with potential markets. Thus, all of these problem solving have satisfied some of macroeconomics objectives where Malaysia may achieve equitable income distribution and economic growth.